in the war against major crime. There's a new team of officers out on patrol.
He's out.
Stay there! Officer with a taser!
Handpicked, their task to tackle the most hardened criminals.
Get on the floor, now!
Meet the Sentinels.
I want to catch bad guys. I want to get in people's faces.
Accept nothing, believe no one, and challenge everything.
The latest police tactics revealed for the first time. They drive the fastest police cars on the road.
We are left. Risk is high.
It's crashed.
Decamp.
They use targeted live criminal intelligence
It's a black Bentley Continental.
with the help of an all-seeing matrix of cameras.
It should be hitting them within the next 60 seconds.
Open the window! Oh, you're going to smash! Open the window!
The result? Criminals face overwhelming force.
We're going to make life as difficult for them as we absolutely can, again and again and again.
The most wanted hunted down.
Yeah, whoever it was, he floored it.
In a deadly game of cat and mouse.
Be advised he's violent.
Don't stop!
He's got warning signals for weapons.
This vehicle is possibly involved in human trafficking.
Open the door!
These are the Sentinels.
This is where the excitement really starts to build up.
And this is Fast Justice. Coming up, the Sentinels take down a suspected county line.
Open the window! Open the window!
Let's get these cars off the road, yeah?
Make a surprise arrest in a lay-by of love.
We're in the lay-by near the dogging site.
And discover a suspected portable DIY weed factory.
Oh, that looks like a cannabis production. A filter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Leaving a driver
You're under arrest. You understand that?
in trouble with his mum. The Sentinels are an elite vehicle-borne unit. Their sole purpose is to hunt down and capture Suffolk's most serious criminals.
Not like a man there. Dressed like a man.
At the start of every shift, intelligence is gathered from the police national database to update today's hot list of suspects.
Morning, guys. Crews today, Dan with Sam, 8-2, and George, 8-3.
This team of 8 is one of 3 across the county. Here, they are led by Sergeant Mike Moon.
We're going to be focusing on a county line vehicle that we've been looking at for a little while, so we should be able to get all the vehicles in the right tactical positions before it arrives. County lines are, for us, predominantly Class A drug lines based out of London. They operate using runners, which are people who convey the drugs.
Today, Mufti will be the team's controller, a role unique to the Sentinels. His job is to monitor the ANPR cameras for the suspect's county lines car.
The ANPR is crucial.
Any vehicles that may have come into interaction with the police in their past, we'll know about them.
The whole team head out on the hunt for today's target car.
Let's go.
It's a grey Mercedes GLA 220, linked to London.
Let's get the plain car plotted here, and we'll move on. We'll pump on.
Even the boss has come out. The Sentinels mean business.
Got the Sarge out. Sarge is leading the line.
If it's a big one, if there's risks involved, then I like to be in charge. Lucky enough to have that experience to make sure that decent decisions are made to reduce risks to everybody involved.
Intel, the Class A drug business, he was supplying drugs from this vehicle. Stop and search if grounds allowed.
Yeah, that's fine.
Who's the best driver in the team?
Oh, probably the sergeant. 929.
Okay, we're okay then. Let's come off.
And it's not just because he is a sergeant, he is an incredible driver.
Talk to Dan, let's get him off somewhere.
Maybe it's age. Maybe the experience comes with age. Don't tell him I said that.
George is in an unmarked car. The plan is to intercept the Mercedes as it heads back to London.
It may come off, but we've got to be in it to win it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mufti sends units 82 and 80 to lay in wait a few miles up from the A12. They will be the stop team.
From info 82, we're sat at, I think it's Woodgates Road. There's an on-slip and a lay-by.
80 likewise in that location.
Everyone's on high alert and hoping they've not missed the mark.
Just before your adrenaline's like really up there, you know, your senses are all heightened, you know, you're sort of really listening in for the comms from all your other team members.
83, we're at Cop Dock roundabout. There's no queuing traffic at the lights. I anticipate it's already gone past us.
Yeah, got it, cheers.
You don't know who's going to be in the cars, what's going to be in the car. You're just 100% on alert, and you just got to be ready for every possible eventuality, really.
Woody and Sam's job is to spot the Mercedes and warn units 80 and 82.
Is this smoke going to come up on the outside?
It passes right behind them, heading towards Mufti's two-car trap up the road.
I'm behind the vehicle, A12 lane 2. Got one vehicle for cover.
And 2 minutes later...
There it is. Let's go. 82, we've got eyeball of the vehicle. We'll just get past you, George, then we'll take over comms.
Dan and Sam take off in pursuit with Sergeant Moon and Sophie right behind. The suspect has no idea that 200 yards behind him, there are now 3 Sentinel cars on his tail jostling for a position and waiting to strike.
80, once we're behind the vehicle, if you can go past when we put the stop in, and you'll be the front vehicle, we'll stay and keep the view of the vehicle from behind.
Roger that, we'll look to pull it in a safe location.
But then the driver of the suspect car realises he's got company.
He spotted us.
The Sentinels are forced to strike quickly.
George, we can take over from you now if you want to pull into lane 1.
Sergeant Moon improvises a 3-car blocking manoeuvre.
Get behind us, tail on me. You will create a sterile area behind us.
Some excitement starts to build up.
We'll wait for it hopefully to...
Take a natural into lane 1. We'll then follow into lane 1. 80, if you can go in front.
Yeah, roger that.
Mike races past 82 to overtake the suspect vehicle.
82, we are directly behind the vehicle. 80, when you're ready. I'll go passenger. 82, we're stopping the vehicle now.
You're good to go.
Open the window, open the window! Keep your hands where you can see them.
Okay.
We're going to detain you for a Section 23 misuse of drugs act search.
Just go check the boot, mate, look.
Jump out of the vehicle.
Let's get these cars off the road, yeah?
Stinks of cannabis in the vehicle.
Okay.
Let's get you out of the car. Out of the car. I need to explain a few things to you.
Turns out, as he was driving along, he was smoking a joint. So, obviously, he's been stopped by us. It absolutely just reeked of it.
The man's immediately handcuffed and moved into a Sentinel vehicle.
Yep. You're detained for Section 23 misuse of drugs act search. There's also a very, very heavy smell of cannabis from within the vehicle.
Okay.
Let me explain a few things, then I'm going to caution you, all right?
There is no drugs in the car.
Well, there's obviously some cannabis. I'm going to caution you just initially, all right? So...
Whilst Dan cautions the suspect, it's down to Mike to move the Merc to a safer location for a search.
Just trying to find a parking brake now. Sorry about this, guys.
That's what happens when the skipper goes out.
With the convoy finally moving, Dan and Woody take the suspect to custody. Their sergeant will oversee the search.
I'm just struggling learning how to drive this thing.
Back at control, Mufti is digging into the suspect's criminal record.
Possession of offensive weapon in 15, robbery in 15, possession with intent to supply in 14. So yeah, no insurance. He's smoking a spliff as he's driving, so the chances of him being positive for cannabis for drug wipe is quite high. We'll just check his driving licence, see if he's got one of those as well.
So stick your tongue right out for me. Keep it out.
Thank you.
Just update for driving licence. He's an expired provisional driving licence holder.
Proceed.
Not got much going for him at the minute.
It seems like the Sentinels have enough to suspect cannabis possession. But what else could the man have in his car? The Sentinels have stopped and arrested a man on the A12 suspected of county lines drug dealing.
Open the window! Open the window!
He's on his way to custody, and his car will be searched in a safer location.
Stick your tongue right out for me. Keep it out.
Given he was smoking weed when stopped, it's no surprise the man fails his drug wipe.
Testing the campus of cocaine. That's sent right there.
He'll get booked in, strip search, and see what else he's got on him.
Safely off the A12, the team know the driver's already facing a list of charges.
So he's nicked for no licence, no insurance, drug driving, and possession of cannabis currently.
And now Sniffer Dog PD Barry is on the scene.
Is he cash as well, Andy?
Yeah, it's like cash.
The handler's here now with his dog, which is specially trained to sniff out drugs. There is a cannabis cigarette beside the driver's console, so that's going to put him off a little bit because there's quite a strong smell within the car itself. But hopefully we can clear that, and then the dog can indicate any particular areas within the vehicle. I don't know if he's going to find anything, because the whole MO of these guys is to offload their gear in Ipswich and then drive out with the cash. So I'm looking for cash as much as I am drugs.
Barry indicates on more evidence of drug dealing. First, a set of scales.
Is it just scales, is it? Or?
Well, I don't know. We'll have a look. Just have a look in that area.
Then, as the Sentinels dig deeper into the boot, more drug paraphernalia with a suspicious-looking hoard of pound coins. Party and prescription pill-based drugs are often sold in small amounts at a few pounds a pop. There's also a second phone, which Sergeant Moon believes could be key.
Within this bag, you can see in here is a burner phone. I'm just asking to see if we can get crime scene investigators out here to forensically examine it before we seize it.
Normally a burner phone is one of the old style phones, one of the ones that perhaps you see your granddad with. It's not an internet equipped device, that's the difference.
The phone may lack an online record, but at least forensics can check it for fingerprints.
And then that shows the fact that they're not merely in possession of drugs, but actually they're supplying it, which is a far more serious matter.
The evidence against the suspected dealer looks overwhelming.
Given the fact we've got a bag full of coinage here, we've got some scales, we've got a burner phone, we'll nick him for concerned supply.
Yeah, perfect.
Right. Lovely. Great, CSI here. And we've got a burner phone, which we just need the SIM done, really.
In custody, the driver hands over £300 in cash, another indication he may have been dealing.
What we have done is disrupt this guy. We've taken his cash, we've taken his phone. He's got no licence, no insurance, probably drug driving as well, although that's going to take some time to examine. But, you know, we've disrupted him significantly, or this line significantly, which is great. That's a nice little tickle, actually, isn't it?
That's not bad at all.
It's not massive, but actually it's everyday. It's just interrupting everyday business. Yeah.
The Sentinels often work as two officer teams in their turbocharged BMWs and hunt as a pack to chase down criminals.
We'll try and keep up, Dan. Thank you. Slow down, please. Launch control.
There's always healthy competition, whether it be the fastest, the fittest, the best looking amongst the boys, because, you know, they love that.
This afternoon in 8-2, PC's John Wood and Sam Chittock are following Dan Newson and Sophie Mitchell in 8-1. PC Andy Hodds is working control.
Attention.
Passing a line of traffic, their in-car automatic number plate recognition camera pings a vehicle of interest.
Yeah, I'll go there.
Dealing drugs, driving, as well.
I'll go for that.
8-2, just got an activation on the car set.
Yeah, received it. What is it? The blue, grey beam or something.
Right behind them, the guys in car 82 also spot the grey BMW.
Oh yeah, that's in there. Yeah, received that.
Which is now circling the roundabout.
Read back on the roundabout.
We'll go round the roundabout, shall we? We'll hold.
But which of the 4 possible exits will the suspect vehicle take?
He's got to come this way. Well, unless he goes that way. He could turn straight off, couldn't he? Dan will punt at the roundabout in case he shoots down Yes. It's gone.
The driver appears to have spotted the police, exiting the roundabout early to avoid them.
Yeah, he saw a police vehicle turn around and speed off, not located. It's clearly what he's done previously.
He's clearly taken a route that he wasn't going to take. He knew we were there. He's only done that one for one reason, and that's to try and get away from us.
In a possible move to give the Sentinels the slip, the silver Beamer takes to country lanes.
We're just trying to locate it because it's changed lanes at the roundabout and gone in a different direction.
Go, go, go. Go, I want to go down there.
On a hunch, Dan and Sophie check a dead-end lane.
8182, we've got it.
With a notorious reputation.
See how I can see them? Back on MPR1, we're in the lay-by near the dogging site. Is that why you're here?
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
The man has chosen a romantic hotspot to stop.
Dan, are you with that vehicle?
Yes, we're in the queue for check.
And it's not long before Woody and Sam catch up and arrive on the scene. As well as the driver, there's a woman and a child in the car. Back at control, Hodsey comes up with some intelligence on the driver.
He is known on local. Intel from the 22nd of August to say that he's dealing cannabis in the Felixstowe area.
Just jump out of the car for me, please. You're going to be detained at this time for a drug search?
Okay. I did the other evening.
Okay, fine. Let
me just explain a few
things to you. I'll just pop these on.
It seems the driver's heard it all before. He's pretty relaxed for a man who appeared to try and dodge the cops.
Once we're finished with the search, we'll give you a little paper
record, the receipt. You can use that
in the future if you want to get a full record of the search. But because we've detained you under that power, we're looking only for drugs. It's going to be you and the vehicle. Have you got anything on you which you shouldn't have?
No.
Do you use drugs?
No.
that wasn't
No, I stopped.
The man's pleading his innocence, but he's getting searched anyway.
The reason you're being searched is there's information that says you're dealing drugs. Why would there be that information if that's not the case?
If I'm honest with you.
Fair enough. It's fairly honest.
While Woody and Dan carry out the search of the driver,
Yeah, it's slow, yeah.
their noses do some detective work.
Have you had some booze this morning? I can smell alcohol.
No?
Okay, we'll do a breath test with you anyway. So you're saying the last time you had a drink was...
Yesterday afternoon.
Yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, stop. So that's come up with 0.
Oh, no, I haven't brushed my teeth.
Not brushing your teeth might be criminal to some, but it's not against the law. So Sophie and Woody dig deeper and start searching the car. Woody's got some questions about the man's last-minute lane change back on the roundabout.
Did you say you're coming down this way because you've got a stop before?
No, she's on the way to the hospital. I needed her, admittedly.
You were in the right lane to go to the hospital and then you changed lanes.
No, and I started busting.
The driver claims he wasn't trying to dodge the cops. He was just desperate for the toilet. But then Sophie makes a discovery.
I think he's clearly a drug user. It's like the classic sort of pipe remnants. There's a spent wrap in that bag as well. But you have to be suspicious and you have to keep asking those questions and trying to find out exactly what these people are up to because, you know, generally 9 times out of 10 they're up to no good.
Signs of Class A drug use is enough for the Sentinels to justify carrying out a drug wipe on the driver.
Just going to carry out this roadside test.
And if you stick your tongue right out for me. Keep it out. Here. Just get a little bit from this.
I really should have got
Lovely.
shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Is this going to be positive or negative?
That's the fish.
Sorry?
I was with you, sir.
Okay.
The alcohol he admits to is already undetectable, but it's a different story when it comes to drugs.
That's bad news. It's positive for cocaine and cannabis. So it's 11:15. I'm going to arrest you on suspicion of driving also over the specified drug limit. So you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention, when questioned, something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand what that means?
The driver's nicked for drug driving. He'll be taken to the station to give a blood sample to check the level of narcotics in his system.
The only other thing, have you got anything in your pants?
No, well, no, not
Another day, another early start for the Sentinels.
Where did you have for breakfast?
It's just bacon rolls and cakes from the bakery.
Lefty turn up?
No.
In car 8-3, thoughts of breakfast vanish when Dan and Sam get an urgent call from Sergeant Moon.
A blue Volvo S40 is a member of a Suffolk OCG involved in cannabis cultivation. Stop check the occupant and consider search if grounds allow.
Dan and Sam race to locate a car that's triggered a number plate recognition camera. The suspected gang is known to the Sentinels, and Dan has a hunch they'll head to a nearby address. And he's right.
The blue Volvo was parked down a little side road. We're going to sit by somewhere and see if it moves.
They position themselves in a nearby street away from the suspect vehicle.
Can you see it there?
Yeah.
The trap for the blue Volvo is set. In Ipswich, officers Dan Newson and Sam Maples are staking out a blue Volvo thought to be linked with cannabis cultivation. With time to kill, discussion soon returns to their favourite subject.
That burger rip was lovely. A double quarter pounder. It was like decent meat.
For the Sentinels, watching and waiting is all part of their hunt for hardened criminals.
I think patience key, and we need to wait because that's how we get the results, and there's no good giving it 10 minutes and then we drive off and something happens.
The vehicle coming out. Here it comes.
Luckily this time, they don't have to wait long.
Sam, just to make you aware, this Volvo has came out of the side road and just parked up. We'll go and try and speak to them now.
All of a sudden, a grey Kia pulls up behind the Volvo. And as Sam is talking to its driver, a woman in a white top gets out of the Volvo and into the second car, which then drives off. Dan's suspicious.
Control, just note down, please, just engage with that Volvo. We're not able to stop and speak to them.
While he and Sam check out the Volvo that first triggered the ANPR, Sergeant Moon checks the grey Kia Soul that picked up the elderly woman, and there's intel on that driver too.
Warning, drugs found inside cannabis grow. Most recently was arrested September 19 for driving a vehicle uninsured and no licence, and convicted March 2020.
George Harvey and Sam Chittock in car 81 are just a few streets away. They quickly spot the Kia stuck in traffic, going in the opposite direction.
Yeah, there it is. We've got a sighting of them just spinning for it.
They catch up with the driver.
Follow us. Follow us.
And escort him to a nearby parking area.
Hey mate, have you got your driving licence on you at all? Have you got your driving licence on you at all?
I lost my wallet.
Okay.
And I lost my driving license and I had the only thing was I had pocket.
Okay, have you got a picture of it?
Yeah.
A mile away across town, Dan and Sam in 8-3 are finishing up with the first suspect car, which is off to the police pound. A bad day for the Volvo driver.
From 8-3, the mayor's told us he doesn't have a driving licence, so and he's not insured. So we're giving him a tour for those offences and seizing the vehicle.
But back at the second car, The day is about to get a lot worse.
There's a very strong smell of cannabis coming out of your car, all right? Because of that, I'm going to detain you for a search under Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act. I'm PC George Harvey. This is my colleague, PC. OK.
The driver is Albanian, and his English isn't great.
The language barrier is a thing we come up against every day. There are ways around it. Remarkably, they can normally speak pretty good English at the start, and things quickly deteriorate.
Smell of cannabis in the car. The occupant's got previous for being found in a cannabis grow. Has been arrested for producing controlled drugs.
With this latest intelligence update from Mike, George tries to make himself understood.
Do you want me to start again, or did you get any of that?
And the older woman is still in the car as well.
Is this your mum, your grandma, or...?
My family.
We're not going to be searching her. We're going to be searching you in the car, OK?
Woody and Sophie arrive to help.
Hello there. What was your name, sorry? Don't speak very English? OK. Just want to come and sit in the back of the car? Just while we search that car there, all right? Don't speak much English? No, you've got to come and sit in the car because we're going to be searching that. Sorry? What are you trying to say? They're in there.
You can't take anything out of there at the moment.
We're going to be searching that car, so we'll find them. So if you come and sit in our car, and then we'll get your passport and your handbag and bits and pieces, all right?
With the driver's mum safely out of the rain,
Just to keep you dry and out of the wind.
the focus switches back to him.
You smoked any cannabis today?
No.
You smoked?
No.
No? Do you smoke at all?
Sometimes.
When was the last time? You forget. How about any cocaine? You use coke?
No. I hate it.
You hate it? OK.
Meanwhile, Woody and Sam start turning over the suspect's car, looking for evidence that he's connected to the drugs industry.
There's a Stanley blade in the side pocket. There's a load of cash in here as well.
Searching the car, we've got a substantial amount of cash in the glove box, well in excess of £1,000. So I believe he's going to be arrested for money laundering, essentially just to establish where that money's come from, as we don't believe it will come from some kind of criminality.
But what they're really looking for is staring them in the face.
Oh, that looks like a for cannabis production. A filter, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'd say that's what that is.
In the back, we've got what appears to be potentially like ducting, and then potentially like a light up and grow. It's got on the box, potentially like a lamp. So I think he can come in for money laundering and concern in production or cannabis. It's great to get kind of not just the end product of a bit of cannabis, but the kind of means to grow even more. And it just proves we're onto a winner and kind of onto something quite well organised.
There's quite a lot there. I'd say there's probably a few thousand. There's a tube for the knife.
With the evidence mounting, items are seized, and it's time to give the good news to the driver.
Following the result of the search of the car, we found certain items within the car that we suspect are being used for the production of cannabis. So at this time, I'm arresting you on suspicion of money laundering and also for being concerned in the production of cannabis. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned, something which you later rely on in court, and anything you do say can be given in evidence. Do you understand?
No,
Do you understand anything I've said? I mean, your English has been pretty good up to there.
Bro, I don't understand you. I'm sorry to go.
You're under arrest. You understand that?
Yeah.
Thankfully, the key information isn't lost in translation, and the driver is nicked.
So, can I speak with my mom?
Now he's in trouble. He wants his mummy.
She's fine, she's safe, she's with my colleague, you can see her, she's right over there. She's fine, she's not distressed or anything.
Mum's in the other car, apparently unaware the trouble her son's in. The suspect is taken away.
Control just for info, we're now en route to the pick. I'm just going to call ahead.
And so is the car. But Mum is still in Sophie and Woody's vehicle. Sophie makes a quick call to the sergeant for advice.
I would say seize her mobile phone and let her run.
Start the engine.
As Mum isn't exactly up to running, Sophie and Woody decide to take her home. But that proves a bit tricky when she only speaks Albanian.
Sorry, I don't understand. This road?
At last, they drop her off near where her son had first been spotted.
No. Okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
An hour and a quarter's drive from Ipswich, in the coastal town of Lowestoft, the Sentinel East team may be the local kings of the road, but PC Danny Morse has overslept. Again.
Danny, what are you going to do about your cake fine?
I'm going to get a big cake to pay them all off in one go.
So you 3 cake fines, yeah?
Yeah. So what do you want?
Ice and Krispy Kreme.
What kind of offences incur a cake fine?
Oh, well, I can think of a few because I'm guilty of them.
One for losing your keys and the other one for obviously being not really
Sleeping in.
Sleeping in. So you got it.
I think it's a way of informally sorting out, not turning up late, basically.
The team of 8 are headed up by Sergeant Lee Simons.
We just need to make sure that comes to us.
With over 100 years combined experience policing their seaside town, the officers know their patch and their regular suspects intimately.
We'll work out who's driving around, who we're interested in, and what the local intelligence matches up to who we should be targeting. And we do that every day.
Officers Mark Williams and Danny Morse are out in car 91 when their onboard camera pings the number plate of a car linked to a disqualified driver.
Hit our rear camera, so it must have been going south, and it was a silver Subaru Forester.
You were seen.
The Lowestoft team's regular controller is PC Andy Hodds.
One of the teams is just going to a job to help sponsor, and so they pinged another vehicle on our list. So the other car's gone after that.
Mark and Danny race to catch up with the vehicle.
From 91, we're heading north up Yarmouth Road, coming up to Harris.
But the silver Subaru does a disappearing act into the maze of residential roads.
This estate all ties into one another.
Here it is, here it is. Here it is. Can you put the keys, take the keys out? Take the keys out, fella. Okay, cheers.
We've got the vehicle.
You're disqualified from driving, aren't you?
No.
You know, well, apparently, I believe you are. Just do some checks, okay?
The driver appears to be genuinely surprised to be told he's disqualified, so Danny asks for further checks.
Yeah, control, can you confirm that's the gentleman who's supposed to be disqualified?
There seems to be some confusion with the intel.
He's showing us a substantive licence. Hold on 2 seconds.
While Hodsey digs deeper, Mark and Danny are curious about where the couple were going.
E-Drive and do deliveries.
Oh, what do you deliver?
Chinese.
Sorry, Chinese?
Yeah.
We then realised that he's not trying to avoid the police. He'd actually been delivering onto the estate, hence going down the alleyways and where he'd been seen. So that tied up, that made sense with the initial story.
The pair say they're a Chinese takeaway delivery service, but that poses another problem.
Have you taken out a separate policy of insurance then for your business? For delivering the Chinese or not?
I needed it, so I'm just a driver.
Yeah, but the car itself is being used to deliver, even though you're the driver. Do you see what I mean?
I didn't know that.
It's not you're not out for a just social domestic pleasure. You're out to actually physically deliver something, whether it's for you or someone else.
He's actually using the car for his business. It's not social domestic and pleasure. He claimed not to be aware, and yeah, ignorance doesn't help. But it's that car that hits and kills somebody or makes off, not insured, and then somebody else ends up paying the price.
There's more bad news for the driver. Hodsey's got to the truth about his driving licence.
It says on the case, disqualified from driving for totting up offence, sentenced to 6 months disqual.
Yes.
That gentleman went to court and was disqualified for driving due to getting too many points on his licence.
Here it is, here it is. Here it is.
The Sentinel East team have pulled over a driver who's been using his car to deliver Chinese food whilst disqualified.
You're disqualified from driving, aren't you?
No.
The man denies it, but intel says otherwise.
That gentleman went to court and was disqualified for driving due to getting too many points on his licence.
According to Hodsey, the court case was just 4 days ago. The driver claims he knows nothing about it.
Says you've been to court on the 21st for some reason.
Right.
You haven't been to court?
I haven't had no letter through about court on the 21st or anything.
Yeah, he's saying he hasn't been to court on the 21st and hasn't had any letters either about it.
But Hodsey reveals a further history of driving offences.
Control, he recalls getting a summons January this year for no MOT. He said the other one was April last year?
Yeah, it was April last year for no insurance and no MOT, so it's no insurance and no MOT.
You were dealt with for no insurance in the April, and what's happened is the points have totted up now, and it's obviously disqualified you by way of totting up. Fortunately, the fact you're disqual and it's showing our system that checks your disqual, we are going to have to deal with that matter. But we will be seizing your vehicle. We've got to seize your car, and that's just the way it is.
Thanks to the Sentinels, that's the end of this disqualified driver's delivery round.
What can you tell me about this?
Knew all about it. Knew all that I was disqualified.
As I explained, checks revealed these offences have resulted in you getting disqualified from driving due to the total points you have acquired. Therefore, I'm reporting you for the offence of being disqualified. Anything you want to reply to that?
Well, if I'd known I was disqualified, I wouldn't be driving.
Obviously, disqualified driving was the main offence we were looking at, and he was doing that. And he was doing it delivering Chinese, you know, so and which he wasn't insured for. So yeah, his excuse didn't really hold up in my mind.
As well as losing his car, it appears the driver's now in hot oil with his boss from the takeaway.
Hello. I've got one delivery in my hand. I was on my way to it. No, I was on my way to it. I've been pulled over and my car is being taken away from me.
But an unhappy customer is demanding to know where their prawn crackers have got to.
I can't because I'm not allowed to drive. I'm trying to also get someone to come in and cover it. I can't physically drive.
Just tell him we'll bring the food back to him in a minute. We'll have to get someone to do it.
You do it. I'm losing my temper.
It was his fault at the end of the day, and he's been disqualified for a reason. He's potentially putting other people's lives at risk. So no, I don't feel particularly bad about that one.
The silver Subaru will be impounded. Until he can get his licence back, the driver will be making deliveries on foot.
Tommy's going to have cold Chinese tonight, unfortunately.
Back in Ipswich.
A1 to control, we're back in play.
Sentinels Dan Newson and Sam Maples have just dropped a suspect in custody and are ready for the afternoon's action. Mufti is on control, and a car has caught his attention.
It's a blue Ford Fiesta linked to drug supply in Ipswich.
8-1, we're on London Road now.
What, two behind?
It may be a couple of cars behind us.
Dan and Sam are in luck. They pull into a petrol station to let the suspect Fiesta pass them, while Mufti feeds them more drug-related intel.
This Ford Fiesta has information that the vehicle was used by a drug dealer supplying drugs in the Ipswich area, found in possession of Class A in 2019.
The one yet? Yeah, received. The vehicle is 2 up.
It is the target car. There are 2 people inside. So Sam Chittock and Woody in 8-2 divert to support.
8-2, we're heading towards you.
But it doesn't take Dan and Sam long to catch up with the Fiesta.
Vehicle stopped Hamford Road, just near Firming Close.
Sam and Woody arrive seconds later. There's a man in the driver's seat and a female passenger.
What's going on? Please don't swear.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
Thanks very much.
Both are detained for a search.
Don't put them on, buddy. I've never had handcuffs on my
I'm going to
life.
put them on because you've been detained for a search under Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act, okay?
And they've both got issues with the handcuffs.
I'm just going to pop these on you there just to facilitate our search. And I'll explain a few more bits to you in just a second. These might not even fit you.
I can get out of them. I can.
I'm sure you can.
Say information that this vehicle is being used to deal drugs.
Well, that's definitely not, mate.
The driver's adamant he's not dealing drugs.
Our PC Maples is PC Wood, okay?
Yeah. What's going to
take these off?
I'm not going to go anywhere. I've just never had cuffs on me.
What's going to happen is we're going to carry out a
Search yourself and the vehicle, look for drugs, and we'll go from there, okay?
He's still claiming to be squeaky clean.
You never had any drugs offences?
No, never.
Nothing at all. Have you got any drugs on you?
Yeah, I've got weed on me. It's like a little bit of dust, mate. That's about it.
But then he admits to breaking the law.
It's in my bag. I can get it out for you.
Oh, it's okay. You're fine. Have you got any on you at the moment?
No, not on me at the moment, no.
Okay.
While the driver's searched, Woody goes to fetch his man bag to check for the cannabis dust.
Gosh, things done it. Great hours done in.
Could there be more to this than the man is letting on?
It's your bag, yeah?
10 bag, not even a 10 bag. It's literally in that bit. It's a big green bag, look. It's that bag there, look. Yeah, that one there. It's a dusty little 10 bag in there.
Maybe in that situation they're thinking, I can just admit to a little bit of cannabis, I'll be done for possession of cannabis and that'll be dealt with really, and they're hoping if they tell us there's a little bit of something here, we won't do a thorough job on the rest.
As Woody inspects the stash of weed, he spots something more sinister, and so does the driver.
Oh, my mate left that yesterday. That's cocaine, by the way.
Okay.
Just remember you're under call.
Yeah, I understand that, mate.
And that's not all. It turns out to be quite a haul.
You've got scales, you've got a reasonable size bag. I'm presuming that's cannabis in there as well, is it?
Yeah.
They suspect the driver is operating a drugs delivery service.
You've always got a policeman's nose about it. You just get an inkling that they're lying to you and just keep going and going and going until you get the truth. And more often than not, you will get the truth.
A1 control.
Go ahead, 8-1.
In a rucksack belonging to driver is some cannabis, plus also some wraps, which he said are cocaine, and some scales. The male's been arrested on suspicion of peewee.
That's received. Well done.
The driver's been arrested for possession with intent to supply Class A and Class B drugs. Despite the serious trouble he's in, he seems keener to show off his hot hatch when the sentinels have to move it.
Just make sure you give us some revs. My sister stalled it about 12 times, mate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a bit sporty. Make sure you give it revs.
Well, don't give it too many because you're crashing her off.
He's been arrested for possession with intent to supply drugs. The search is ongoing at this time, but hopefully he's on his way to custody. That's a wrap.
A further search of his vehicle yielded more cannabis. At the time of filming, the case is ongoing.
What you got in here?
The view.
A win for the Sentinels. Intelligence leading them to a target car and the efficient removal of another suspected dealer from the streets. Classic disruption and frustration of criminal networks. All in a day's work.